what I think modern finance teams actually need is more support from a tooling perspective. And the reason being, we're going to talk about efficiency, accuracy, and scale. What I've seen in working with FP&A teams is that as their organizations succeed, the only way that they can accommodate for new work is by actually hiring more people to do that manual work. So this layer of analysis is only ever really 25% of folks' time. Most of it is still spent just gathering those numbers, which is not as interesting a job for people. It doesn't help with retention, and it doesn't drive the bottom line for the business. So one way to think about it, and my team does this a lot, is like, what would it mean for FP&A to build their own data power center? So a data power center, in my opinion, means direct access to live data, because all of the source systems that you use, these are just examples of some: NetSuite, Stripe, could be some manual Excel, could be Salesforce, QuickBooks, whatever it is. Most of those applications, all of those applications, have live data sources that could be connected to one another in the cloud. Does this mean you need to hire a data team to run a cloud warehouse for you? No. There's a lot of technologies that make this really straightforward, and a lot of your organizations may already have a cloud warehouse that's run by some other part of the group that you could be looped into. So collaboration is really important too. But the number one thing about gathering data, it starts with ingestion. So FP&A teams, we believe, should have some capability to have live ingestion and own it themselves, make connections to the data ingestion if they're buying a new tool, so that those source systems are in that spreadsheet to begin with. That's just the first step. So once you've got all of your data in one place, and something that looks like this is an example of something we have in our product, but there's a lot of products out there that do similar things, ways that you can build data sets from different data sources into one. That is a capability that could change the way these FP&A teams and all of your organizations operate very, very quickly by reducing that time that we just saw in the poll immediately. And that time can be spent in so many ways to impact the bottom line. Headcount is a very easy way, like headcount avoidance when it comes to scale, but just being able to join your data together. That's the data gathering part of it. But we know this, everyone here knows this, the data gathering part that's like really step one. It does take a lot of time from finance teams, but the next step is cleaning and validating that data. So there are so many ways that AI can support you, because the way that you clean and validate numbers each month, it can understand, it can recognize, it can suggest checks. You will still need to be the owner. We're talking about human in the loop AI. This isn't AI that will replace an FP&A individual completely, but AI that could empower every single person on your team to be that 25% or 45% more efficient, so that they can focus on more meaningful work. And when you think about that from a company scale, it's very easy to back into dollar amounts that go upwards from $500,000, $500,000 up, like very, very clear. If you could have all of your live data in a single place, join those data sets together and be told what kind of checks show where there are gaps, that would immediately change things. The next step is automation of sending out clean reports. So once your reports are cleaned, you could then schedule it so that you're not spending a ton of time plugging in the numbers to that same spreadsheet each month, or that PowerPoint presentation if you need to send it over, or even a dashboard. All of that is possible. And when we think about P&L automation and reporting, we're seeing that across the spectrum be something that finance teams can do more and more of. There are technologies that can help you with this, and there are also processes that could be set up. And the last piece is data quality. So there's the basic checks when you join things together, but when you see that there is an error, the questions that FP&A teams get, what's driving my general ledger? These are things that should be at your fingertips if the data consolidation piece, cleaning piece is all happening at the cloud storage layer, right? If everything's happening in the cloud, you could actually then start applying LLMs and some sort of AI, natural language analytics agent to give you answers that then you can feed over to all of your stakeholders. And that's when it goes from 45% to 75% changes in efficiency. And I'll talk about that for a second because the status quo today is that 75% of analyst time is still spent pulling together monthly reporting. And this is usually the moment where we've connected with an FP&A team and they're struggling with this, and only 25% is spent responding to questions. That leaves almost no time for analysis. Because so much work is being done by hand, accuracy is limited. There's a lot of fat finger errors. There's a lot of issues where even if you're the one that ran the numbers last month, can you run them again next month? This is all like ripe for automation. And I spoke about this earlier. I think one of the most meaningful ways that FP&A can be affected by AI and drive change is as their businesses succeed, they don't need to hire junior analysts to do that manual work. They can leverage technology to take care of that manual work and then make more sophisticated analytics hires that will actually understand and change the way they're thinking about growth. What we've seen is if you're able to automate centralization, cleaning, and reconciliation into a single source of truth. I could have asked a question like how many people feel like they have a single source of truth. That's really important, something FP&A must own. They can change the efficiency of the entire organization. That means that accuracy is being handled at least 50% to 70% by the technology. So data issues are flagged immediately. They don't wait for someone internally to find them, and they get routed immediately to whoever is closing the books so that your FP&A team can scale and focus on the strategic initiatives.